Do you feel like your website just isn't quite up to date? You definitely want to make sure that you're checking off all of these boxes. Hey, I'm Jessie from Inkpot Creative, and our studio helps photographers just like you stand out with unique and one-of-a-kind brand and websites. And by the end of this video, you will know 5 of the most important things that you can do for your website this year. Side note, it's 2025. If your website platform isn't working for you, it might be time to reevaluate. Click the link in the description below to take our website platform quiz to see if there's one that might be better for you. Now, the first thing we want to talk about, and honestly one of the most important things that you can do, is have a really clear nav bar, which also includes having language in the nav bar that people expect to see. So people don't want to have to scour your website to find the pages that they want or the information that they want. Your nav bar should make it really clear. It should have all of the important pages in there, but you also want to make sure that you don't put too many things in your nav bar. So you don't necessarily have to have every single page linked at the top. You can put more in the footer. You can put links throughout if they're kind of more hidden pages. That's totally okay. But when you're thinking about the main pages that people want to see, so for example, your home page, your about page, information on your services, your portfolios or galleries, and your contact page, even your blog, we want to make sure that those links are in the navigation bar and are really clear to see and understand. Now, when I say really clear to understand, I mean what they're actually reading, what it says in your navigation bar makes sense. So one of the things we see all the time is putting journal instead of blog. And yes, it sounds great and it can be a fun thing to put in there. But when you're going to a website, when you see journal, that doesn't always trigger you to think, okay, that's a blog. We want to make sure that when we're putting stuff out there, it's really clear and simple. We don't need to do something fancy when we're talking about meet the team or anything. Like just about in there is perfectly fine, or services or experience, whatever it is. We don't need to get super cutesy with the names in our links. We can add so much of that personality in the copy itself. That's totally okay. But when we're looking at the links, we want to make sure that people can very quickly and easily know where they need to go to find the information that they want to know. With this too, we want to make sure that the contact button is the last button on the nav bar. It's this weird thing where when people look at websites, they read it in an F, right? So that last link that's on your nav bar is where their eye is going to be drawn to. So we want that to be the page that we want people to visit. We want people to go to our contact page. We want people to reach out to us. So that's what we want that last link to be. Now, another thing that you can do that might help draw people's eyes to that and make it stand out a bit is put some sort of different feature on that. So it might be having a background or making that more of a button, even though everything else is a link, or having a different color, underlining it, whatever it is that you do, we want to make sure that that button stands out. The next thing that is really going to help you in 2025 is having a portfolio that shows off your work in the best way possible. Now, we did recently do a video going all over what you need to include in your photography portfolio. So if you haven't watched that, go watch that first. But your portfolio is such an important part of your website. You want to make sure that your portfolio not only shows the level of work that you're currently at, which might mean updating it a little bit, but you also want to make sure that it's showing off couples, clients, whoever it is that you want to work with. So whoever you want to draw in, if you're like, man, I've had these 5 or 6 people that like, if every client could be this client, if I could duplicate them, that would be incredible and I would be the happiest person on earth. Show off those weddings, show off those couples, those families, whatever it is, because that's going to draw those same like-minded people to you. And again, a great way to do this is using it as a case study. So talk about them, talk about what happened, talk about where the wedding was or what the couple did, or, what services you did with them, how you helped them find whatever it might be, the location, the venue, anything. Talk about those little kind of intricate details of the process, because that's not only going to give people more insight into what it's like working with you, but it's also going to help you position yourself as the expert. So when they come to you, they're like, okay, I already trust this. I know you're going to do a great job. I love your style. Like, where do I sign? Now, I'm sure most of you, the main goal of your website is going to be getting people to reach out to you, contact you, fill out the inquiry form, whatever it might be, right? We all want people to reach out to us so we can start those conversations, start building those relationships. But we also have to understand that sometimes people want to interact and talk with us and ask questions in different ways. So one of the things that we would definitely not sleep on is having multiple ways for people to get in touch with you on your website, your contact page, whatever it might be. So like I said, this is kind of twofold. One, people might just want to reach out to you in a different way, or don't really love filling out contact forms, or don't really love emailing you directly and they'd rather fill out a contact form. So having different ways can help people feel more comfortable actually reaching out to you. But also sometimes people might feel like they don't fit into the boxes in your contact form, right? So especially for offering multiple services, we might have one contact form that's a little generic or one that's a little more specific, whatever it might be. And people might look at it and be like, I think this is it, but like I'm not 100% sure. And that kind of questioning, if that's the only way to reach out to you, they might not, because they're not exactly sure how to do that. So simply just having a few different ways that people can reach out to you can make a big difference and help people kind of reach out, have that first interaction, get to know you better in a way that works for them. Now, this in no way means that you have to compromise boundaries that you've set up in your business for how people can reach out to you, connect with you, talk to you, right? So we're not saying you have to put every single way that people can contact you. We're not saying put your cell phone number on your website if that's not something that you're comfortable with. But even something as simple as having a contact form and then your email address can make a huge difference. We recently did this for one of our clients' sites, Bree, and it's super easy, super simple. We have the contact form there. And then down at the bottom, there's just a quick link to her email. So if anyone's having issues with the contact form, or if they're not 100% sure where they fall, if they have other questions, the email's right there. They can shoot her off a quick email and everything's all set, right? So we want to make sure we make it easy for people to reach out to us however they feel best. Are any of these updates hitting home for you right now? Let us know in the comments below. The fourth must-have thing for your website this year is a blog and also optimizing your site for SEO. So if you're sleeping on blogging, you are missing out on so much potential. Blogging can help you draw in your dream clients without feeling like you're constantly, on the hamster wheel of social media or anything like that. It works for you even when you're not working. Plus, blogging can help bump your overall site SEO. So as you start to blog more, things start to rank more. You might even notice that your actual website pages are starting to rank better and show up better on Google. Speaking of, skipping out on optimizing all of the pages on your website is hurting your business. It is so important that your entire site is optimized, that you make sure you're kind of checking all those boxes that Google is looking for so that there's no questioning, there's no issues, there's no, when Google's looking at it, they're like, this doesn't really line up, or there's things, that aren't really working here, so we might not rank it as well, right? So we want to make sure we're checking off all those SEO boxes. We're putting a little bit of effort in to get it all optimized and set up so that it can work for us throughout the entire year. And while things like Instagram and TikTok and all these other social media platforms out there are fluctuating, things are getting seen, things are not getting seen, platforms might be going away, platforms end up going down for a day, whatever it might be, Google isn't going anywhere. So having a solid website that is bringing you traffic and bringing you your ideal clients right to you without feeling like you're always out there searching for them, it's just unbeatable. The final thing that you should have on your website for 2025 is separate service pages. This is especially important if you have services that aren't necessarily related or are talking to different audiences. So this could look like, your main service is weddings. That's what you mostly book, but you also might do families and branding photography. You want to make sure that you have different services pages for those, because in all reality, you're talking to completely different subsets of people for each of those services. You might have a general overarching ideal client that matches each of those. So maybe that's people that are super adventurous, or people that are super relaxed and low key. So it doesn't matter if it's a wedding or a family photo or branding or whatever it might be, you're going to have the same vibe. But what people are looking for, what questions they're asking, what worries they have or anything like that are going to be different for each individual service. Now, you can even have different service pages for ones that you think are even a little related. So maybe we're looking at weddings, engagements, and elopements. We can have 3 different services pages for those. They can be similar setup. We're not saying you have to completely reinvent the wheel for all of these. Oftentimes we even take it, or we have a general layout. We duplicate it, swap out the copy and the photos, and adjust it a little bit for each service, and it works great. But having different pages for each of those allows you to speak more directly to the person that's actually visiting that page and looking for that information. You can also do things like break down the different processes. So obviously what happens in an engagement session is going to be different than what happens in an elopement. And even what happens in an elopement is going to be different than what happens at a full wedding, right? So breaking down different processes, answering different questions, any of those things are going to help people kind of get a better sense of what it's like working with you for this specific service, answer questions they might have in the back of their mind, and again, build that confidence in you as a service provider. And it gives you an opportunity to show off that specific type of work. So each page can have images, maybe even little sliding galleries or anything like that to show off specific work from that type of service. So people really get to dive deep into it instead of just getting a little bit of surface level information and then having to ask you a ton of questions or, look through more pages on the website or do long calls or anything like that. They kind of get that information right off the bat that they're looking for right now. If this made you realize that you have some work to do on your own site, but making all of these changes feels a little intimidating, we have you covered. Click the link below to learn more about the Rebrand Edit, where we will create a custom one-of-a-kind brand and website for you based on your personality, the things that you love, and your business in just 4 weeks flat. And as always, if this was helpful, let us know by hitting that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time.